Hey y'all, welcome back to Liam's Tips and Tricks. Today I wanted to go over the new update that they hit us with last night. It was several of the changes were kind of large surprises. There's a lot of outcry about this update in general. So I wanted to go ahead and go over and give you my views on it, and just let you know what I think about all of the changes that Nexon has made for us this time. To start off with real basic ones, we're going to go through the basic changes first and then hit the big controversy. They have increased max level from 80 to 100. That's no big deal. Anybody who's been working at it for a while will easily start to be able to level up. As I said in my previous video on experience, if you haven't checked it out, go ahead. There's lots of ways to get your XP and level up. One of the best ways is with guild chests, the guild XP chests, as well as fishing. They have increased the max ultimate level from up to 16. That's fine. They have the big controversy with this update, the biggest one so far from all the public outcry that I've seen, is that they've increased max skills to level 80, but it actually takes gems to increase the levels after you hit 60. We're going to go back to that a little bit later after I get through the rest of these basic points. They have also increased our main quests from 15 to 18, and some of these get kind of difficult here. Just in the ranks, I prefer to call them ranks, rank 16 quest, you have to have 100, you have to use 100 bath oils. So obviously you need to be able to get the bath materials in order to make the oils. Or if you really want to, you can go ahead and just dump gems and do it that way. But in my opinion, I got a lot of bath oil materials just from fishing. Just using classic baits, and you can get a bunch. I mean, honestly, I would say that you could easily get enough to cover the 100 that you would need in about a week of dedicated sleep fishing, which is something I'll go over in another video, hopefully really soon, because I've been waiting on that one for a while. Alright, and then obviously you need to get to 4 million for this particular one, do 300 materials and gear enhancements. That's nothing. I mean, that's really simple. Level 17, you have to change gear traits 50 times. That's significantly more expensive, and that's actually quite a bit difficult, as well as getting a linked skill to level 70, basically a combo skill to level 70, and this is 100%, this feeds back into the controversy of skills, but it 100% will take you gems in order to do it. And it is kind of frustrating, but it's also not insurmountable. We'll get to that. Let's see. And then rank 18, you have to have 5 million power, and reach level 100 and fuse gear 100 times. Okay, fusing gear 100 times is going to be kind of costly. Now, keep in mind, of course, that I am a free player. So I'm speaking on my view as a free player about these issues. As far as if you are a spending player, there's a lot of opportunities here to grow your power quickly, and including the fusing gear 100 times, they did release a pack that already has a whole bunch of gear that's B grade up to level 40. So, I mean, like, you could easily bust that out quickly. But for the rest of us, obviously, 16, 17, and 18 is going to take quite a bit of time for us to achieve. Let's see, and in a little bit of fluff, they did add some Immortal Raid achievements, but I don't really care about that. Generally, the achievements don't really give you too much, except for the big star clearing achievements in the main quests in the adventure stages. Okay, so other things of note, real quick. The 7-day login event actually as always has some pretty solid stuff, some good stuff. The weapon chest, the accessory chest, the armor chest, and of course the costume chests, and guaranteed Witch or Plague Doctor costume chest, rank B to S, and you get 2 of them. And as I've mentioned many times before in my previous videos, especially for login rewards like this, you have access to all 4 characters. Just log them in, and just grab these login rewards, and even your monthly check-in rewards. And actually, that does bring me to another point, and this was another major issue with and like big controversy for us free players, and that is that we used to get Nexon used to give us gems in our login bonuses, but they don't any longer. Now it's just gear, chests, and obviously tickets, etc. So that losing that chunk of gems does hurt us a little bit, but honestly, I never relied on the gems that I got from my login bonuses. I always kind of viewed them personally as a bonus, rather than something to completely depend on. And that's partially because I never really paid attention to what I was getting from the login bonus per se, so I would just see, oh look, I got 1,500 gems, or I got 1,000 gems, that's great. In another video very soon that I'm going to come out with within the next day or two, because it's of huge concern, especially now for all of us free players, and that is a video on how to get the most gems for free from utilizing the 4 characters, as I've said multiple times. You can, with a little bit of effort, it does take some time, I'm not going to lie, but with some effort, you can score an 8,800 gems per week pretty easily. And you can actually, if you're a dedicated enough player and you're really good at PvP, team PvP, dueling, then you can actually easily get up to 10,000 or more. So I definitely want to hit that in detail to let you know how I personally have done it over the past 3 months that I've been playing the game. Every single week since I've started, I've gotten at least 8,800 gems per week for free, which is also how I was able to get up to my current total of 31,000, because I've saved them and I haven't spent any, and it took about 3 weeks or so to get that. So, just something to look forward to. Alright, so in other big news is the plus gear. We have to go to the Grimoire because I do not have plus gear yet. It's probably going to take me quite some time. But let's review it real quick. There have been fusing adjustments. And it's pretty big. Basically, whenever you fuse gear now, you have a chance of getting, you've always had a chance of getting plus gear, rare gear, from fusing Bs or higher. But now, when you fuse, you have a chance of getting plus gear. This is just with regular Bs. You have a chance of getting plus gear or plus gear, although it's a really slim chance. The one thing that they did that was good, in my opinion, was that if you fuse 2+ gears, you're guaranteed to at least get a plus gear back, and it didn't used to work that way. There was no guarantee on what you would receive back for whatever you put in. Like, you could put in two A pluses and just get a regular S out in the old format. So I actually appreciate that change, and that will make a difference. So when you use 2+ gears now, you're guaranteed a plus gear, and you actually have a chance at getting a plus, which is the new Elite Super Rare gear, which we see here. These are the two new sets, the Dynasty and the PvP Dynasty. At least for the Warrior, they have different sets, different names for the different characters. It's just fluff, but hey. Alright, so just really quickly, the weapons have an additional skill. So once you actually get this, when and if you're ever able to get a plus weapon, it gives you a bonus skill that you can use in combat. I don't really know the details of it. I don't know how it functions yet, because obviously I don't have one. But I'm certain that there's probably a pretty significant cooldown on it, but it would be basically just like having an extra 4th skill, which would be really helpful in combat. Let's see, the other pieces, the armor, the helmet, and the belt, and the cape, they also have a gear skill, but it basically enhances the weapon's extra bonus skill. So, the other thing to note is the set bonuses on the plus gear are definitely some pretty serious. Like for this one, for the regular Dynasty, if you have all 5 pieces, landing a critical hit recovers 5% of your max HP. That is insane. Now the only thing is that the PvP version does not have that. With the PvP version, if you score a critical hit, it reduces the opponent's attack speed by 30% for 7 seconds. But and the only real difference between the two pieces, besides the set bonus, is the PvP crit rate on the at least on the sword. So it's kind of a toss-up. Like, honestly, both of them would be great in PvP, because you definitely want to be able to recover HP fast. Let's see. And they do have a current event for the gear chests where it has an increased chance for A++ gear if you purchase the chests, but this is another sticking point of the controversy. The chances for getting ++ gear from chests is extremely low. I'm going to pause the video here, and I'm going to go ahead and show you a screenshot from Nexon where it specifically shows the percentages, and then we're going to discuss it. I'll be right back. And we're back. If that screenshot appeared too fast for you, go ahead and just back up the video and pause it so you can check it out. But basically, the information that's on it, the most important part is the very top line where it discusses the different drop rates from the chests that we see right here. So, when you buy a chest, just when you buy a single for 300 gems, you have a 65% chance of getting a C. No big surprise there. You have a 29.98% chance of getting a B, a 4.5% chance of getting an A, a 0.5% chance of getting a rare gear, a single plus, which, just for clarity, 0.5% is equal to 1 out of every 200 chests that you bought. So, hypothetically, if you were going to buy 200 of these and dump straight up 60,000 gems, then you would be almost guaranteed to get an A+. But I don't think anybody's going to do that. At least I certainly hope not. And finally, the plus gear, they give us a 0.02% chance. To understand what that means, it's basically for 1 in every 5,000 chests is a plus gear. So, don't expect to get it, is basically what it boils down to. If you happen to get it, if you happen to win the lottery and grab it, like from a free chest or from any that you buy, then congratulations, be thrilled, because chances are really good it's not going to happen again. 1 in 5,000 is pretty extreme, and that's part of the big controversy over this update, is because of the extremely low chance. And we already see people running around with plus gear. That's the scary part. So somebody's getting it. It's not me, but somebody out there is getting it, so congratulations to them. So the frustrating part is, yes, this does have an increased chance for A++ gear, but it's basically doubled, which means the chance goes from 1 in 5,000 down to 1 in 2,500. Still, not, in my opinion, really worth the gamble. To give you an idea as far as gem cost, if you wanted to straight up buy your way to getting one piece, guaranteed, or nearly guaranteed, because keep in mind it is random, you never know what you're actually going to get, these are just probability percentages, you would have to buy the pack of 10, 250 times. So, 250 times 3,000, you're looking at 750,000 gems basically to meet the probability of getting one piece of plus gear. So obviously that is definitely not going to happen for us free players, as well as the vast majority even of spenders. I mean, even the whales should probably be really frustrated at that drop rate. Unless they're just extremely lucky, which I am not. So, moving along. Even though that whole thing with the plus gear and the probability percentages is extremely low, we do still obviously have a chance with good old-fashioned fusing. So don't give up hope yet, because not only will we not have it, but the vast majority of players are not going to be getting it anytime soon. And if they do, the vast majority of players, I'm going to say like 99.999% are not going to have a full set. Which is good, because that would be instantly game-changing. If they made it really easy to get, or even moderately easy to get, then that would make it much more difficult for the rest of us to be able to recover. It would almost certainly kill the game a whole lot faster if it was easy enough for spenders to purchase and get them. Now, granted, it does, of course, skew in the favor of paying to win, but at least it's a little bit balanced in that you're not going to be seeing people running around with full sets right away. It's going to take quite some time and focused effort on it, pretty much everybody's part, to be able to even get close to that. Let's see, and also as a side note, they do have now runes and jewels also fall under the same, the fusing updates, and both plus runes and plus jewels are available. One of my earlier videos from quite some time ago, I went over runes and jewels and fusing in order to get them upgraded. And so that information does still apply. And the good news is that since they do fall under the same fusing rules as the gear, if you use 2+ jewels or 2+ runes, then you're guaranteed to get a plus back, with a chance at getting a plus. So there is at least a minor chance with most of your fuses to get the super rares. So that's kind of helpful. The only downside is that when it comes to gear, the pluses don't, the plus and the plus, the rare and ultra rare, don't come available until you start fusing Bs. But with runes and jewels, since the pluses actually appear as low grade as D, we might be able to get some out of fusing Ns. So just keep that in mind. I'm not sure where that is yet. That hasn't been made clear. So I'm going to go ahead and test that out myself, and let y'all know an update on if it's possible to get plus jewels and runes that are lower grade, because that would be really helpful, especially for us who are struggling already, to be able to get some power out of this. And finally, this is in regards to a previous video that I did on the Duo Dungeon, as well as a way to farm the Duo Dungeon. They have made Duo Dungeon updates with this patch, but some of the changes that they made are, in my opinion, actually like fair and good. So we got to take the good with the bad here. Good news is that when you go in with somebody, when you go in with a partner, you get you're basically sharing the credit. You're sharing the credit for the first clear rewards. Like for here, right? I have only killed myself 79 monsters with a soul link, using a soul link. And what happened before was it was whoever was lucky enough to either get the weapon or the soul link opportunity, they were the only ones that got credit for it. But now, it doesn't matter which one of the two of you get the weapon or the soul link, you both get credit for it. So for that, it's going to make it much easier to finish off all of our first clears. So that's cool. As far as recurring rewards go, it used to score individual credit on kills as well, so you would both get 2 different numbers for recurring rewards, and now basically whenever you go with a partner, you get the exact same number in response. The downside is that they previously had the elite monsters and boss monsters score more points for the recurring rewards, and they basically have reduced that, and it's now reduced to simple, as far as I could tell, just simple kill numbers, or they significantly reduced it. So previously we were able to farm on the portal wave in the Duo Dungeon and get a whole bunch of extra recurring rewards, and we can't do that any longer. Well, I mean, we can, but it's not as easy, and it's not as lucrative as it was before. As of now, because of this change, if we do the farming trick, and you'll have to see my previous video about it in more in depth, we get about a third to a half of the recurring rewards that we used to, which is kind of, obviously that is a little frustrating as well. Going back to the skills, because this is the biggest sticking point for everybody. Leveling skills used to take just gold and skill points, and was really basic and really straightforward. But now, going from level 61 to level 80 takes gems, and not only does it take gems, but it's not a flat 150 per level. Unfortunately, with each level, the amount of gems required does go up. So I've seen people throwing around a number of 77,000 gems in order to be able to max out all your skills. So I would definitely, like me personally, I don't know about y'all, but I don't use all of my skills. I don't use every single one of these. So I wouldn't necessarily suggest upgrading all of them, especially if you don't have the gems for it. For first things first. But if you're going to, and you participate in GVG, definitely go for whatever you use for your team PvP skills. And I would definitely say go ahead and upgrade those at least. And it's just something that's going to be happening. I mean, it's going to take time. But don't worry about it too much. I mean, yes, it's an obvious, it's a pretty obvious cash grab, but, I mean, it's obviously geared towards spending players, but we can do it too. Even as free players, we can get there. As you already saw, and I've mentioned several times, I have 31,500 gems. I can easily get several of these maxed out right now if I wanted to. I just don't want to yet. I don't want to make a move yet, because, to be honest, like, the damage percentages, they don't go up that much. I mean, it goes up 3% per level, so it's balancing if it's worth it. So I'm actually going to crunch numbers and determine myself if it's worth it to me to start dumping in gems. I'm going to take at least one of these skills and max it out and track it and see how many gems it takes, as well as if there's any additional increase in damage as you make it closer to 80. And finally, we have the event. Okay, so I'm going to go over this really quickly. Basics of development is just your usual fusing, enhancing, gear enhancing. You also get points for fusing gear and refining gear in this one. And as always, this really isn't going to be too difficult to finish. I mean, heck, you could just do it through the gold chests and just, level up a whole bunch of gear to B and, just finish it out that way if you needed to. But that's pretty standard. The fusing event is pretty easy. Polish Harvest? I apologize to the folks from Poland. The Polish Harvest is your basic clear Eastern Mosteria and Mold Island stages. Even though it says clear a party dungeon, by the way, I tested this myself. It does not count for Immortal Raid. So it says clear a party dungeon, but it's only for duo dungeon. So you'll get 50 points from any duo dungeon clears. That's wonderful. And then, of course, 100 points for a raid. It does take 18,000 points. So, I mean, hypothetically, that would be 180 raids, which is impossible at 14 days. But, so you basically just need to go ahead and do a mix of duo dungeons and raids and just repeat battles on Molt Island or Eastern Mosteria, and you should be able to bust this out without too much difficulty. Just doing your 6 duo dungeons in a day will give you 300 points. Doing your 4 raids will give you 400 points. There's 700 right there. And then if you just clear a few stages, you realistically only need to score, let's say, way less than 2,000 a day. I figure 1,500 a day. 1,500 points a day and you'll be fine. you'll be able to clear that easily. Now, the frustrating one for me personally is the last. It lists the first one. Lists as the first part of the event, and that's the Explore Bin 1 Temple. If you don't have the power to get to this stage, then guess what? You're just kind of out of luck. You cannot participate in this part of the event, which is kind of frustrating. As far as the event rewards for the chests, the jack-o'-lanterns there, it takes 100 jack-o'-lanterns per, and then you get, you know, 1 rank B to S. From the basics of development portion of the event, you can get up to 120 jack-o'-lanterns. From the polish harvest, you can get up to 190 more, which would be 310 total. And then from the Explorer, you can get another 190, which would be 500 total. But if you, like I said, if you're in with the vast majority of the players out there, or I should say, not vast majority, but the majority of the players are still under 4 million, and haven't been able to clear it yet, then you won't be able to get the 190 out of this, but you will get at least 3 of the costume chests just from the event points. Let's see, and as far as the actual event itself with the bonus chests here, in my opinion, it's really not worth it to try and max this out. If you didn't get any of the points from doing the actual event, it would take 30,000 gems just to max out this event, and you would only get grand total of all of these rewards here down at the bottom. You would get a grand total of 6 B to S chests, which isn't, you know, nothing to write home about. It's not that exciting. And 1 guaranteed S. So, in my opinion, even if you got the 500 points from doing the events, it would still cost 27,500 gems to be able to finish off this event. And I'm sorry, but that 1 guaranteed S piece is not worth 27,500. I mean, yeah, okay, you get the, you know, the possibility of getting more as you buy them, but still, I don't know. Just, to me, it seems just a little too much. I prefer to use my gems for other things, like in this case, since it is the new paradigm, upgrading skills. And as much as people are frustrated by it, realistically, if we had that particular institution where it costs us gems right off the bat, if we knew ahead of time that it costs us gems to push skills from 60 to 80, then it wouldn't have been this large of a deal. It would not have been this huge of a controversy as it is now. We would have just said, oh, well, in that case, we'll go ahead and start saving our gems early on, because we know that eventually we'll get to this point where we'll have to use gems to level our skills. We would have been, I believe personally, that we would have been much more accepting as a community if we had known that when we started playing. So I just want to throw that out there. That's just my personal thought. Yes, it is frustrating that we just got blindsided by it, but it's not really a game ender. We can work around it. So for those of you who are subscribed to my channel, thank you for one. And keep an eye out for the free gem video, because I'm definitely going to pump that out in the next day or two, because obviously we need it more than ever. Everybody needs the gems, so I'm going to show you what I've been doing myself personally throughout the past 3 months to get at least 8,800 gems a week. So And if you like this video, go ahead and drop me a like, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. And just thank you so much for watching. And I hope this was helpful and informative. And have a great night, and happy hunting.